Hey guys, today on Overtime Arcade, we're going to be doing part 4 in our restoration series of the Sega OutRun mini cabinet. That's right, part 4 of our Sega OutRun mini restoration, the cabaret version of Sega's classic driving game OutRun. And yeah guys, I got to tell you, I messed up. Mistakes were made, I fully admit it. I kind of got good reasons for doing the things that I did, but we're going to do a ton of stuff in this episode, and a lot of it's going to be kind of dumb. I made some bonehead moves here. I fully own up to it. Let's see, we're going to try to remove some rust off a bunch of metal parts. We're going to work on the monitor. We're going to work on the soundboard. We're going to work on repairing some of the damage to the cabinet. And yeah, I'm expecting some heat on some of the stuff that I did here. But anyway, if that sounds like fun, why don't we head outside and get started? Let's go!
Overtime!
All right, guys, here's something you are not supposed to do. And I've heard horror stories about this before, and this certainly wasn't intentional, but this is just how it worked out. So a while back, I stripped all of the rusty metal parts, all of the small rusty metal parts off of my OutRun mini cabaret that I've been restoring. And I took all those metal parts off of the cabinet, and I stuck them in this sort of little plastic storage bin thing and filled it up with 2 big jugs, I guess 2 gallons of Evapo-Rust. And Evapo-Rust will sort of dissolve all of the rust and get it all off and help clean it up, etc., etc. And I kind of forgot about it. To be honest, I forgot about it multiple times, and then I remembered in a panic multiple times. Because I've heard horror stories, if you sort of forget this and leave it for too long, the Evapo-Rust will turn into a gel, and then you've got a different issue. You got to remove the old Evapo-Rust. So I did this, gosh, at least 45 days ago, probably closer to 2 months ago. This has all been sitting in here. And, every once in a while, like I said, I sort of remember in a panic and come over, and I've been kicking it, shaking it a little bit. And I don't think it's a gel, or at least not all the way a gel. So I'm getting it on my hands. That's why I got the gloves on. And there's a very good reason that I sort of forgot about this, and I'll explain it someday, but yeah, everything's okay. I just couldn't get to this. So yeah, here's my plan. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to take all of the parts out. I'm going to rinse it off. I've got the garden hose over here. We'll rinse it off. I'll dry it off with paper towel, and then I'm going to spray everything with WD-40, because WD-40 is like, the WD stands for water displacement, right? So this will help sort of protect it. Some of these parts might need to be painted, not some others, but the WD-40 will kind of, giving it a light coating of WD-40 will help prevent rust, from immediately coming back. So here we go. Let's open up this vault and look at that. So I'm doing this over here in a patch. We used to have a little kids' playhouse over here, just because I don't want to kill a bunch of grass and create a super fun site. I am going to try to recover the old WD-40. I have some cement blocks in here that I use just sort of to raise the volume of the of the Evapo-Rust. So, oh my gosh, look at that! It is turning to a gel. Oh no, this is not good, guys. Let me see if I can grab these other blocks in here. Yeah, this is gel. This is not good. Yeah, everything is coated with like a gel of Evapo-Rust. And is this even, I don't know. This is, like I said, this is not the way. Oh my gosh. Oh, how am I going to even get this stuff out? It's like almost glued together. All right, I'm going to start, wipe this. Yeah, it's gel, guys. It's not fully gel. Some of it is still liquid, but this is not good. So let me start to rinse this stuff off. This is like the fan grill. And I don't know if this is even really metal. This might be plastic with some stuff on it. Oh man. This is, yeah, look at all that. It looks almost like Jello that hasn't been, yeah, this is gonna have to be sanded down and sort of repainted with like a silver paint, but this just gets most of the rust off. What is this part? I don't even know. And I'm just making Evapo-Rust gel mud over here. Oh gosh. All right, I'm gonna go. This is not draining the way I expected it to. All right, guys, this is a bit of a disaster. So let me go make some headway on this, and then I'll come back and sort of show you how we're doing. Oh boy. All right, I think I've gotten almost everything out, but you can see this last piece. It's like the gel is almost like, you know, like seriously, like Jello. So yeah, let me get this all cleaned up, and then we'll kind of assess what we're dealing with here. But boy, is this nasty, and what a mess I've made of this. Okay, I got all of the gelatinous Evapo-Rust cleaned off, you know, rinsed it all off, dried it off, and I kind of sprayed everything in a good coating of WD-40. So you can see in here it's a little bit glistening because this is all covered in WD-40, and I got it inside the bin again. I cleaned the bin out as well. So there's a good amount of WD-40 in here. Everything's looking pretty good for the most part. You know, I probably lost, you know, a screw or washer here or there, but I've got most of everything. And the stuff that I'm missing, I'm sure, you know, knock on wood, famous last words, will be easy to find, you know, from Ace Hardware if I'm missing it. You know, some of these things need to be, you know, I have a wire wheel taken to them and I'll repaint it, you know, sort of a chrome, some of it's black. There's a panel that goes sort of right in front where the pedals go into the cabinet, and that didn't get all the rust off, I think because it was on the bottom, and it sort of got like sealed to the bottom of the bin, and so the Evapo-Rust wasn't getting to it, especially with the concrete bricks or concrete blocks sort of holding it down. So again, I'll take a wire wheel to that, and that's the thing that needs to get painted black, but we will save that for another day. Keep it in here with the WD-40 again will help prevent any flash rust from coming back, which would be bad. All right, guys, check this out. I've been working on the K7000 monitor for my Sega OutRun Mini, the OutRun Cabaret. Now, this is a working monitor. It wasn't working perfectly. It was a little bit funky, so I wanted to do a cap kit and really give it a once-over and make sure everything was good to go. Now, I'm almost done with the cap kit, but I've noticed a couple of interesting things. I don't know if it's jumping right out at you. Guys, look at this. These wires are all chewed up. Look at this blue one here. The insulation is half chewed up, and this green one, it's almost entirely chewed. And there's the horizontal position sort of jumper is like broken entirely. This is crazy, right? And there's one of these, the ground wires here that goes to the neck board has a little bit of insulation chewed up. But this is nuts. And somehow this monitor was still working. Like look right here. The last time when I was testing the PCB, this monitor was somehow still working. Again, not working correctly, not working perfectly, but this is crazy, right? Like you can have these wires almost chewed all the way through, and in some cases completely chewed all the way through, and the monitor still at least functions somehow. And it's also weird to me, sort of, you know, this mouse or whatever was in here, what it decided to chow down on. It chewed on this green wire and this blue wire, but not this other blue wire and not this yellow wire right directly, you know, next to it. So anyway, I'm gonna replace this green wire. I'm gonna replace this blue wire, figure out how to replace the yellow jumper over here, and I'll finish the cap kit, and then I think we'll be in good shape to throw this back onto the tube, and hopefully we've got a perfectly working monitor at that point. But isn't this nuts? All right, guys, I finished all the work and put the K7000 chassis back onto the monitor frame, hooked back up to the tube. We got the new blue and green wires in there, and there was a couple spots where, replacing the wire, just, the horizontal position. A couple of spots where, the wire wasn't chewed all the way through. There was a little bit of, chew marks on the insulation. I fixed that with just some electrical tape. I know, a bit of a hack job, including, I noticed, on the some of the yoke wires too. Some of the yoke wires were chewed up a little bit. I didn't want to replace those entirely. They weren't chewed all the way through. Nowhere near as bad as some of these other wires, but that's all fixed. That's all patched, replaced. Everything's plugged back in. Let's do our checklist. We have the gauze coil is plugged in, yoke is plugged in, DAG is up, connected, neck board's in. We got our Crafty Mech test pattern generator, the TPG, hooked up to provide, signal. The Fluke 117 multimeter is hooked up to check the B+. Compact portable isolation transformer power supply to provide some power to this thing. That's all hooked up, and yeah, I think we're good to go. So we'll turn on the multimeter. We'll turn on the TPG. Yep, that's on. And here we go, applying power in 3, 2, 1. I heard the HV come on. We have 122.5. It should be 123. That's not bad. And hey, look at that. Sure enough, we'll get you off the tripod here. Sure enough, we have an image on the monitor. That looks pretty good right there. Let's step through, make sure we have everything. Look at that, red's up a little bit high, but we have all of our colors. How does that look? I'll take some time. Yeah, I gotta do some white balancing, definitely too much red. But I'll go through the white balance procedure. You've seen me do that before. Yeah, too much red. The gray looks a little pink. Yeah, that actually looks really good, guys. I just went through that white balance procedure on another K7000 from the recent Pac-Man restoration update video. So check that out if you're interested on exactly how to white balance K7000. It's in the manual. It's not hard. You just have to go through all the steps and get it going. So check out that video if you want to see it. One other thing I've been working on is this right here. This is the amp, the sound amp. It's technically called the Sega Dual Channel Audio Amp 839-0035. Whoop, there it is. It's also the 171-5402. So this is a dual channel sound amp. I don't know if the music goes through this, but definitely the sound effects of OutRun get piped through this thing. I'm assuming the music would too to get amplified. What's interesting is this has a ton of caps. It's got 19 caps, but there are 2 channels. There's sort of dual channels here, side 1 and side 2, and they're basically identical. So there's 9 caps on both channels, and then an additional cap right here. And they're even numbered the same, like C1, C2. There's 2 of each of those, and then a single C15. So I finished one side here. You can see where the new caps are in, and they're all sort of marked, so I know what I've done. This was actually a huge pain. This is a dual-sided board, very thin vias and thin traces. You can sort of see the underside here. All the legs, the component legs, are very, very close to each other. So I had a heck of a time removing a lot of the solder, and I went painstakingly through each one, making sure, there were some pads that I lifted, but I made sure everything was connected really well. So we're doing okay there. I need to do this other side, and then I'll reflow all of these headers. And this was working. We did have sound, but it's always good, especially with soundboards, to recap it. Just makes it a little bit better. And it isn't that bad. And I like doing cap kits, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do the other side of this cap kit, and then this will be ready to go. I'll get the monitor white balanced and dialed in, and we'll be one step closer to having this project done. But speaking of dumb ideas and stupid things to do, I've got an issue here with the cabinet. I've got some damage that I need to repair, and I've got a really, really, guys, dumb idea on how I'm going to fix this. So let me kind of show you what I'm talking about. I'm not sure how well it'll show up on camera, but the bottom of the cabinet is kind of caving in a little bit. So the way this is designed, it's all made with like MDF sort of material, particle board, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, it's a little bit chewed up on the sides. But there's an outer shell where the side panels come all the way down to the bottom. And then this bottom plate, and the way it gets affixed to the sides of the cabinet, there's cleats on the inside. And, you know, I guess a ton of weight has, you know, been up against this, and it's sort of caved in a little bit. You might be able to see it. Let's see if I can get you in here into the inside of the cabinet and show you what I'm talking about. From in here, if the the gimbal will cooperate, we'll sort of come in here, and you can see that crack right down there? This thing is caving in. It's been pushed up, it's been pushed in. You can see where the cleats sort of hold everything together. Not the best sort of design. Obviously, this gimbal doesn't like the angles that I'm moving it at. This is going sort of crazy. Now, the correct way, the proper way to fix this would be to replace the entire side bottom panel, which I'm not entirely against doing. You know, remove the cleats, you know, cut a piece of wood. The issue is sort of up here, this toe piece. This is all the bottom panel. That's just one piece of wood. But then you have this piece, and these are like glued together. These really can't be separated. And this is like shaped wood. This is sort of like a wedge. And I don't want to have to try to recut that. So I got a really dumb idea. So I got this toe piece. The side panel is like coming off. I thought about cutting it and putting a new piece in. I'm actually going to try to save this. I know, it's stupid. I'm going to Bondo all of this. I've got new, what is this? That's gross. This right here. I've got a new sort of rubber tread to go on this. So we'll get all that going. I'll Bondo all of this. I'll sort of, I don't know, put screws in or something to repair this and reshape it, reform the toe with Bondo, which is only a little bit, right? And it's not structural, so I think that'll be okay. But what I'm going to do, and you know, there needs some more Bondo on the edges down here and similar on the other side. But what I'm going to do for this bottom panel, rather than replacing it, I'm going to sandwich it in between two new pieces of plywood. And I know the woodworking folks already out there are cringing. They're saying, no, Charlie, don't take the shortcut. That's blah, blah, blah. Like, guys, this is never going to be perfect. I'm not going for a perfect restoration. You know, and I have a ton of respect for the folks that go, you know, to extraordinary lengths to do museum quality restorations, but that's not what I'm all about here. I embrace the patina. I love the patina. I'm not going to put new side art on this. Yeah, it's sort of like, I don't know, you know, there's scratches all over and gouges and stuff, but it's original, and it's only original once. And if someone wants to come along in years and do it perfectly, they're more than welcome to do that. But today, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, I've got two pieces of plywood, one for the outside that'll go on the bottom, one for the inside that'll obviously go on the inside. The inside's a lot smaller because you don't have the toe on the inside. And I'm going to sandwich these two pieces together. I'm going to drill 4 or 5 holes through all 3 pieces. The original sort of particle board MDF, I think it's really more like MDF, in the middle, plywood on the outside, and I'm going to hold it together with carriage bolts. And I got these fender washers that'll kind of really help to squeeze it and prevent the bolts from pulling through. So that's my cockamamie idea, and I know it's dumb, I know it's wrong, but guys, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And another thing that contributed to this issue is you have these like skids on the bottom. So it doesn't even allow the whole weight of the cabinet is going onto this panel, but then it gets transferred onto these skids. I already pulled one of them off, and these are, again, just pieces of particle board or MDF stapled to the cabinet, taking all the weight. Terrible design. And I've found the best way to remove it is just sort of with this painter's scraper that has a spot on the end designed to be hit with a hammer. And we're just pulling this thing off. Come on. Prying it off. There's some long staples in here. was that? Oh, this is this is the T-nut. It's like a double T-nut to hold the what do you call it? Leg levelers in place. Kind of pull. It's glued and it's got these. Yeah, I just ripped. Oh man. I know this is the wrong way to do it, guys. This is the wrong way to do it. So, see if I can scrape some of the extra material off. Sometimes it's like cutting almost the what do you call it? The staple. Yeah, there's a bunch of material here. All right, let me get this this off, and then I'll show you what I'm planning on doing. Okay, now that we got all that cleaned up, this is looking fine, I guess. I also needed to take the little sort of toe piece of angle aluminum off of the sides. I almost forgot to do that, so this is kind of crumbling. And I'm pretty sure that this is the only thing that, yep, is holding. I already took the other screws out. The whole toe on. And so here it is right here. Yeah, not looking awesome, but it is what it is. And now this is kind of interesting. I think I was perhaps a little bit wrong with my initial assessment of how this piece was made. This is a straight piece and this is a straight piece, and then there's this, but this is kind of bent a little bit. I don't know, guys. Let me come in here real quick and vacuum this out. Oh man. Look at that. Okay, I think that's good. You know, looking at this in more detail, I gotta say, I'm sort of second guessing myself and thinking maybe I just take this. This is the piece that's, you know, sort of collapsing. Take this off and just replace it. But I don't think I'm gonna do that just because there are like 100 staples and a ton of screws, and I'm worried about causing more damage if I attempt to do it the quote unquote correct way. You know, I don't want this cabinet to fall apart even more, leading to, you know, more and more work to do, because I'm trying to, you know, minimize the work I do here. So I think I'm going to leave it. If I take this off, it's just, this is going to start crumbling, and it's going to be a whole thing. Plus, I already got the materials and cut them to the right length. And I would be, you know, throwing this away if I did that. So I think what we're going to do is go with the original plan, such as it was. Get this kind of sit in here. So yeah, this is the wood that's going to go on and sort of sandwich the old wood together. Man, this is just cupping and all kinds of bad news. Grab an extra piece of wood, just sort of put it here. Okay, and this will give me a bit more of a base to get everything aligned with. Okay. Of course. Wish it was just a tad wider, but this will do. And so let me just double check. Okay, I got this blocking piece down here. Just that will help me align it with the bottom where I want it to be. And maybe right about there. And then I've got my staple gun. And this is not what's gonna, you know, do the hold it permanently. This is really just to hold it in place while I drill the holes. So let me kind of squeeze it together. Okay, I threw a bunch of staples into this. And again, this is not what's going to hold it forever, but it's going to hold it in sort of while I drill everything. And I can pull this out. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're looking at right now. And now what I need to do is drill holes all the way through 3 layers. So the bottom sandwich layer, the top sandwich layer, and the original layer in the middle to fit my carriage bolts through, to then grab onto the fender washers and squeeze this whole thing together. And up here where I don't have the ability to squeeze from both sides, I'll just put some screws in to really kind of hold this together. And that should add a lot more strength. It is going to add a bit more weight to the cabinet. It's really not going to raise it any higher because remember, this 3/4 of an inch is what was the height coming originally from these skids, right? So it's not going to be any higher. It is going to be a little bit heavier, but hopefully that means stronger too. I already put the inside piece, so the top piece of the sandwich, I already put into the inside of the bottom of the cabinet and threw some staples into that. So now what I can do is kind of figure out where I'm going to put this stuff. I think this will result in the, well, I'm hoping this doesn't become an issue with the coin door. I probably need to move the power supply a little bit up so that there's room behind it to fit the carriage bolt. So I'm going to try to get the carriage bolt as close to the back of the cabinet as possible. I think the way to do it is not to put it in the corners, but maybe go top and bottom and side to side. So sort of like turn, but let's see about this. So let me grab one of these big fender washers and a pencil. Let me also find the middle because my OCD is like that. So this is 20 inches across. So we'll measure 10 from each side. Okay. Okay. So maybe a little bit less than 10. And I kind of want it to be, let me extend this. I kind of want it to be as close to the bottom as possible, but I need a little bit of room for margin of error. So maybe about there. Center it. And that's where I drill my hole. And cross my fingers that nothing is destroyed. And I don't think there's a staple in there for me to drill through. So I have my power drill ready to go. I measured, I picked a size that should be good for my carriage bolt to just fit through. So let's line this bad boy up. Start it in reverse just to get a little pocket for it. And this drill has a level built into the top. So I'm going to try to keep it level, but here we go. Okay, and you kind of saw me, break through those three levels one at a time. And let's see, hopefully my carriage bolt fits just nice and snugly right on through, and it does. Okay, so that's good. Let me go drill the other 3 holes. I technically have 5, but I think I'm only going to put 4 in. We'll see how that goes. Maybe it needs one here, like here and here. I don't know. I got to watch out for where I suppose I could cut around. I don't know, I'll make it work, but let me go drill these other holes and then we'll come back and actually squeeze everything together. All right, guys, I'm halfway done and I think it's going really well. I kind of decided to go 3 along the bottom, and up top I might do almost like a triangle, so almost like a house shape, and then up here there'll be a bunch of screws, just holding it to the toe because it can't go all the way through, and it's going actually really good. So let me show you what it looks like on the inside here, if the gimbal will cooperate. So you can see I've got the 3 bolts coming through, and I've got a big fender washer and then a smaller fender washer stacked on top, and then the nut, and then I crank those things down hard with my socket ratchet. What is it called? With my ratchet, right? Socket wrench, whatever. Yeah, my brain is totally fried. And but yeah, this is going good. So there'll be 3 more coming through higher up, and that should be fine. Give me plenty of room to stick the power supply, transformer brick power supply thing, which is right over there, and have plenty of room, plenty of clearance for the coin door vault. But yeah, my brain is totally fried, and I must have also been that way when I went to Ace Hardware, because I am 6 washers short. I don't know what I was thinking. Like I said, I've got a double stack on the top of a smaller one and a larger one, and I need 6 more of these big ones, and I don't have them in my toolbox. So I'm going to have to go to Ace Hardware to get that. And like I said, I'll just throw a bunch of wood screws in to grab onto that, and then we'll be able to move on to some Bondo and reattaching this toe piece, and we'll Bondo the top. I'll have to remember all these holes are for the various things that need to be attached. I got a bunch of where the screws tore things out, and I'll probably, I don't know, because these toe pieces, these aren't going to attach anymore. Whoops, because they're kind of meant to go underneath the slide. So we'll figure something else out. Probably just run like angle aluminum, maybe paint it black and have it run kind of the whole length, and that'll also help hold the repair in place. But we'll have to save that for a future episode because I'm running out of time. It's late Friday night. I got to get this edited and out for a members only early access release on Saturday ahead of the public release on Sunday. So yeah, guys, you've heard me talk about this a million times. The best way to support the channel and the best way to get access to even more Overtime Arcade is by becoming a channel member. You will join over 100 people who are all awesome and super generous. They all donate $1.99 a month, and in exchange they get access to some awesome perks. The aforementioned early access to all new videos. There's a monthly members-only live stream, and we did a cap kit on a K7000 in the most recent one for the end of June. And best of all, you get access to our private members-only Discord server, which is like the best, the most positive, the most supportive, the most fun, engaging arcade community out there. You'll meet like-minded folks, share tips, help each other out, great deals, working on stuff. You get behind-the-scenes stuff of what's going on, what I'm working on. So yeah, if any of that is interesting to you, or if you just want to support the channel, click that join button down below. I really appreciate it. I've also got a merchandise shop, link below for that, hats, t-shirts, hoodies, all that kind of stuff. You can always leave a super thanks down below. Click that super thanks. It's like a one-time donation through YouTube, kind of like a super chat, but super chats are for live streams. Super thanks are for, regular videos like this. And yeah, guys, really, really important. I was reading recently just how important it is, and I think it's more than ever. The YouTube algorithm thrives on engagement. So anything you can do, hitting the like button, it takes a fraction of a second, Make sure you're subscribed. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me how dumb I am for sandwiching plywood onto MDF like this. How stupid that was. Tell me how dumb I was for not being able to get the gimbal working and leaving the Evapo-Rust to turn into gel after 2 months. And I checked, yeah, it was like June 10th when I poured that stuff. Criticism down below, more than welcome, leave it. But any sort of way of engaging, guys, super, super helpful for getting the word out about this channel and getting the YouTube algorithm to recommend it to more folks like you. And yeah, stay tuned. We'll hopefully be wrapping up this project pretty soon. We'll wrap up the Pac-Man. I got to get that joust that I'm turning into a Williams multi-Williams done, J-Rock multi-Williams done. So lots more Overtime Arcade coming. Thank you all for your support. As always, I've been Charlie. Thanks for watching Overtime Arcade, and I'll see you next time.
Overtime!